C10 Talk, episode 139. Episode 139, the Vatos, C10 Vatos. At least one of the Vatos, Mr. Joe Molina. Here we go.
And people are like, why don't you post my truck? And I'm like, dude, look at the pictures that I post. And that's what I tell everybody. Go and look at all the big pages. I mean, I've gotten to the point where I have samples that I send of my truck that I have with like garbage sitting in front of it and then without it. And I said, here's the difference. This is what you're sending me. This is what I want. If you want to be on the page and anybody else's page, you know, anybody that really cares about the content that goes into it, you want a good, clean picture, you know?
Damn, Vato. If you're like me and you want the best possible products for your build, Mar-K Quality Parts has you covered. From side moldings to bedwood and so much more. mar-k.com. And follow them on Instagram too. Whether you're looking to replace your original steering, update those old brakes, or improve your suspension and handling, Classic Performance Products has got your classic truck covered. You can save 10% by using code C10TALK at checkout. 10%. ClassicPerform.com. C10 Nation, are you looking to upgrade your power plant? Are you thinking about going with an LS or an LT-based motor? If you are, PSI Conversions is your go-to for your wiring harness needs. PSIconversions.com/C10Talk. When you're looking for classic Chevy or GMC truck parts, BrothersTrucks.com is your number one source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GMC restoration parts. Head over to BrothersTrucks.com and order your free catalog today.
Welcome to C10 Talk, your C10 Truck podcast. Here's your host, Ronnie Welch.
C10 Nation, listen up. What up? First and foremost, happy Father's Day. I hope you guys get this a little bit before Father's Day. Obviously, we're dropping it out on Thursday, and this Sunday is Father's Day. So I know a lot of times we think about mom, and you know, that's the way it should be. But happy Father's Day to everybody out there. All you guys, all you dads helping your sons, all your sons take care of those dads, and just have a great Father's Day. I hope you're able to spend it with family, friends, and family. I know I will be, and I'm very honored and thankful for that. So looking forward to this weekend. Pretty, a good one to do. The C10 Vatos. Both John and Joe are friends, and I think great time for this one. So in my mind, I'm just trying to kind of reach out to some of these social media entities, and C10 Vatos, of course, is a perfect pick for that. I do have a few others. If you have some other social media outlets you want me to reach out to kind of find out who is or whom are the people behind the social media, one of the ones that I have up is C10 Project. I think it's C10 Project or C10 Projects. So some of those bigger accounts that have kind of come into the scene in the last few years. And for me, I just kind of think it'd be cool to get to know them. I know Joe and John, but I thought it'd be good to bring it to you guys, the nation. Pretty pumped about a new sponsor, PSI Conversion, and then to kind of reach out to them, it's psiconversion.com. And then for us, if you can /C10 Talk, so psiconversion.com/C10 Talk. And then there's a code at checkout. If you use that C10 Talk code, what that does is that gets you free shipping on anything over $250, and it also gets you a free shirt. So honestly, that's just a way that we can kind of help track it. There's so many people in our scene doing the conversions. I was able to talk to those guys up at LS Fest West, and I'm telling you guys right now, if you're going to do an LS swap, an LT, whatever it is, the guy who sold me on it was Johnny G. I mean, the guy's done a ton of LS conversions. If you're going to do a conversion, save yourself the time. I think it's cool that people want to try to wire it themselves, but if you can, PSI Conversion, get it done. It's easily one of those things where if time is a value to you, headache, or lack of headaches, then hit up psiconversion.com /C10 Talk. And we're really just trying to bring you guys the best in the business, and we're glad to have them on board. So go ahead and check them out. It's psiconversion.com, and it's actually /C10 Talk, /C10 Talk. New shirts. So we did a Father's Day sale, and I wanted to have that done to make sure that we got everything shipped out to you guys for Father's Day. So for those of you that took advantage, 25% off every single thing that we have in stock. And that was just, to me, that should pretty much be one of our biggest sales. So taking care of dads, and then making sure that the family members could also take care of dads. Gear 25% off, and then we kicked it all out. But then right at the end there, we got our new shirts in. So our new shirts are going to be the C10 Summer and then the Freedom Warrior, which is the Spirit of 76. That's based off of Todd Carpenter, a.k.a. Big Fish's truck, his rad 76 4x4 K10. And then the C10 Summer, which I know it is C10. It sounded a lot easier, and plus we're kind of the C10 movement. I put some K10s on there. So I just thought it was time to give some K10 love. Plus, it looked really cool on the shirt. So that's based off the Endless Summer shirt. I've had that in my brain for well over 4 years, and finally just putting it down and putting it on a shirt. So one thing you got to think about when you're buying our shirts, if you're listening to this, total sales here, just because it's knowledge. I try to get really soft shirts, not heavy 6+ ounce cotton shirts. I can't wear those. Once you kind of go with a lighter shirt, it's really comfortable to kind of stay that way. The other thing is, I don't just do one color. That's just not who I am. So I really dig the old school iron-on look. You can look at the Freedom Warrior and see that. You can look at the C10, Perfection. You can look at 5 to 6 of the shirts we've done. A lot of color, almost kind of postcard-esque, and that's what I'm looking for. I dig the big truck, the iron-on look. I think that's just what I grew up with, and that's what I like. Now, the C10 Summer, I just think that's a really cool style, kind of get that, 80s vibe and those colors in there. So you're going to, there's a few more colors, and when there's a few more colors, it costs more. And when you go with a nicer shirt, it costs more. So when you're looking at, a single color ink with a single color shirt, it's a little bit more affordable. Our shirts might be a little bit more because they cost more, and honestly, more colors is more money. So we're not trying to, kill you on shirt prices. It's just that when I make the shirts, I go with a more comfortable shirt because I want you guys to enjoy wearing it. So kind of a little bit of a thought process there on really how I look at doing our shirts and bringing it out to you. So 2 really rad new summer designs. C10 Summer, I know they're K10s, but they're pretty rad. And then the Freedom Warrior, which is based off Big Fish's truck. Casey, thank you. Casey Harris, he was the one who put those together for us. So always a pleasure working with him, and him putting up with me making a bunch of changes. But I think we got it just the way I want it. And I'll be honest with you, I think it'd be cool to do a K5 Summer maybe next year. So we'll throw 2 Blazers on there. Think about that. Let me hear from the Blazer guys. That's it, guys. I'm going to get to it. C10 Vatos. Joe, thanks for taking the time to sit down with us. And honestly, happy Father's Day. Hope you guys have a great Father's Day. If you haven't had a chance to check out Metalox or catching up with Paul, go back a few episodes and check them out. You guys have a great Father's Day. Stay out of trouble. Do what you do. Share the pod. Love the pod. Let us know how we're doing. Ronnie at C10 Talk. Have a good one, guys. Late. C10 Nation. What up, what up? We're hanging with the Vatos. Well, one of the Vatos tonight, Joe Molina of C10 Vatos. Hit him up. And really what I'm kind of looking at doing is just reaching out to some of the social media platforms that are so pivotal and really have so much to do with the scene and the expansion of the scene. Joe and John, who run C10 Vatos, you guys came into the scene. You're definitely no stranger to the scene, and you're kicking butt. I mean, you're really one of the things, Joe. So welcome to C10 Talk. Thanks for coming on to the show.
Yeah. No, thanks for having me, man. This is cool, man. I'm honored to be on the show, and I know you have a lot of great people on it, so pretty excited.
I appreciate that. And one thing that I'm kind of just going to drop this on you. One of the things that I really want to look at is last year we did the C10 of the Year award. And so what I'm looking at doing this year, and the meaning of why I'm kind of saying this is you're going to be in the running because I'm going to put you in the running, but I'm looking at doing like the top Instagram page, a page where let the C10 community, the C10 Nation, let them vote and say, okay, here's these pages. And I think the C10 Vatos, you're one of those pages where we kind of have the old guard. We had C10 Crew, C10 Era, C10 Nation, C10 Talk, Square Body Syndicate, C10 Club. We've been around, almost like 5 years now. You guys kind of came in a little bit later, and you've made a lot of headway. So What was that like where you and John were kind of thinking about getting into social media?
Honestly, it was a changing in the way everything worked. Prior to that, really starting our page, I had worked with Street Trucks and a lot of other magazines that were out there at the time. And I saw kind of a trend of print media. I don't want to say dying off, but kind of a change. Like people were losing interest in print. And you see that a lot of people, obviously you see newspapers that have closed down. You've seen bookstores that have closed down. So it was just, I just thought it was a good idea to maybe get out there and just start posting stuff. I've been in the scene, automotive and in the hobby for 25 plus years. I've been in several ties that whole time, and so I've been around. We've started off as mini trucks, and that club has grown into way more. Where everything from exotics to old school to C10s, and we've always had C10s in the club and stuff. And I thought it was just cool. I still have other hard drives from the first SEMAs when I've had a digital camera of pictures I need to dig out, and I want to start posting those, getting some really old school throwback stuff, from the guys that have been doing the C10s for a long time. So I just thought it was something cool that you could just share things that I think are cool, and definitely my truck Chain Reaction, the 73, when Dino moved the Get Down, a lot of people don't know, everybody knows the Get Down now is this big, giant, awesome show and event. It originally started at his house. The first year he decided to move it to the shop, he invited me down. He goes, "Oh man, you got to bring your truck down." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, I don't, what are we doing? We're just going to hang out?" He goes, "Yeah." So I was real fortunate to have Dino, the first year say, "Hey, bring it down." And we had it inside in the showroom. And I think at that first year, there might've been 20, 30 trucks. I mean, I could be wrong, but I just remember being able to walk around and just kind of hang out. We had some, something to eat, had some sodas, and just kind of, got to meet some new people, and that was kind of fun. So I just felt that it was a time to kind of just start doing posting, and I've had social media, all along, going back to MySpace and all that stuff, and we would post pictures of shows, but I just kind of felt it was more of do something that's not me. It was just like a brand, C10 Vatos, and it was just that kind of came up between a couple years back. I think it was maybe 2016. We were at the Get Down, and it was still at the shop, and there was this big banner on the wall Dino had, and it had all these names on there. It had the Syndicate, and it had Era and the Talk, and it had all these names. And I was just looking at it, and me and him were just talking. Dino's always been such a great guy to me. And I go, "You know what you need up there? You need some C10 Vatos." And he just turns to me, he goes, "Cat, you need to do that. Just do it." And he goes, "People, that's catchy, man. People are going to like that." So like right there, I mean, I was literally standing in this parking lot. I opened an Instagram. I already had an Instagram page for myself. I, set up the name, and I took a couple pictures, and John Schick is somebody I've known for a long time, and he's in severed ties with me. He's a fellow member, and he's out in California. And I said, "Dude, I'm going to do this. It's kind of, something different to do." And he has this truck, Loch Ness, which it's a totally custom build, over the top, and he goes, "Yeah, that's pretty cool." We took some pictures, and we kind of off and on would post, and it just we took a break from it for a little bit, and then I was like, I found all these pictures, and he started posting stuff, and I started posting stuff, and at that time he got real busy with his job. He works out in the field, repairing heavy machinery, and I sit, at a desk job. So I work at a dealership, and I have for most of all my life. And so I have a little more time to sit around and, post pictures and answer questions and stuff. So it just kind of took off from that,
Well, it's cool to hear the story. And like you said with Dino, I mean, I remember that second, which was the second Get Down. And you're right. Mm-hmm. It was like the dirt lot across the street. I think there was like 4 trucks, depending on what time.
Yeah.
And I remember Chain Reaction. your intro there's a lot going on for the audience. So John Schick, his Loch Ness was on the cover of Street probably about 2 years ago. It was the Brothers Truck of the Show. I'm gonna say it might have been about 3 or 4 years ago. It's a 67, kind of a real light blue, has some really cool, I think he has Jeep lights. It's a really cool, unique front end. Then Chain Reaction. Chain Reaction was ahead of its time. I mean, squares were nothing to what they are now.
Yeah.
And you had that truck, and not only you had Chain Reaction that was like mini trucker-esque paint in a square that was slammed. And then just to think of the name and think the Vatos and how catchy. And then really, I think one of the cool things about the C10 Vatos and when you guys kind of came into the scene, the branding and the logo, it was like you guys took Tino Garza, Max built, and I'm John has that build that you guys all have beards, but I'm like, I remember telling Tino, I'm like, dude, Tino, you're like the spokesman for the C10 Vatos. I mean, it's like him with a hat on and his glasses. So the marketing, the branding, and what you guys, not only to go back to that, those get downs a few years ago, but to where you are now, and you're a player in the scene, and you guys, I mean, you post a lot of stuff. You're very active in the community. It's really cool. And for the audience, Joe's here in Phoenix, so we know how lucky we are. He's severed. He puts on a show every year. Again, it's that I always kind of like to look at the family tree based off of Dino. He's kind of touched us all, and then this community really grew, and then the Get Down grew, and we're lucky, to have guys like you and John who are posting and making the pages what they are today.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate it. It's fun, man, and it's definitely, I've met some great people, over the years. We get to hang out. We'll drink a beer here and there, when we get to hang out socially at an event, Dino, I've been friends with him for a long time. He supported my show, 7 and Southwest, for many years. So, and we're definitely in the mecca of the C10 scene. I mean, there's so many companies, so many great builders, painters, fabricators. I mean, we got you're huge, man. Honestly, to me, when you asked me to come on, like I said, I was like, man, I was like, what am I going to talk about? You got all these other guys that are such big players that I look up to. So it's good, man. When I tell people, like, I go to Texas, we've been going to LST for many years, and we used to go as just to go to the show because it's such a great show. And now when I go there and we're a vendor, so now people are like, oh, where are you from? And I'm like, Phoenix. Oh, man, do you know Dino? And I was like, yeah. What about Ronnie? I was like, yeah, we followed them out, and these guys, a lot of these guys, and I tell these guys, dude, everybody, we're just normal guys. We're just doing this to have fun. I mean, I'm definitely doing this to have fun. There's, it does sometimes become a second job because you want to be at these events. You want to be out there. People want you to come out and be a vendor and stuff like that. But, if I'm not having a good time, I'm not going to do it. When we get to go to these big shows where I don't have to drive home afterwards, yeah, man, I'd love to have a beer with everybody and have a shot of tequila or whatever the case may be. So it's got to be fun. If not, then it's not worth doing it. But in Arizona, we're very fortunate to have, and I still think we're a pretty tight community. When somebody needs something, I can definitely call, Dino, or I can ask any of the other guys around, hey, man, I'm looking for this part. And, I don't know, I don't have it, but so-and-so probably has one. And so it's still, I would say, a tight-knit community for the most part, so we're real lucky and fortunate to live here.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. I mean, it's one of those things where we've grown so much in the Valley to the community itself, not just Phoenix and the C10 community in Phoenix, but we've grown so much. but yet in times of need, whether it's a part or anything else,
Yeah.
a cause, something like that, we can all still get together like it was 5+ years ago. It's like the forum days where we'd kind of get to know each other. And really, I will never forget you guys had a Severed show probably about, well, obviously you've had it, what are you over like 12 years.
This is going to be year 21.
Oh my God.
So this year will be year 21. Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, it's definitely spent the majority of my life in the custom truck and car scene. So
how many years have you guys had it out at the, what's the mall? Metro Center.
Castles and Coasters. We've probably spent the last 10 years there.
Okay.
That location is probably about 4 or 5 miles from my house. So my intentions were to keep the show there for as long as we could, safety wise and that. And, unfortunately, I don't know. I don't want to put the area down, but I think it was just time for a revamp. We're year 21. This is it, 2019, December 7th. We're moving the show. We have a new great location. We have a sponsor that's worked with us many of times over the years, and we worked out a great deal, and we'll be moving it, and we'll have that here end of the year. So
can you tell us where it's going to be yet or no?
Well, you know what? For you, definitely. We can definitely tell you we are moving it to the UTI campus in Avondale, 107th Avenue and Van Buren. The campus is beautiful. It's clean. There's restrooms, so we won't have porta potties. That was the big thing. I was looking to get a place where they understand our needs and what we do, and the people from UTI are so welcoming. They have monster trucks there. They told me that they've had a diesel pools where they chain up 2 trucks and they have like a tug of war with trucks, in the lot back there, obviously in a controlled area. They're really, man, they want to help us. And, one of the reasons we do the show is to help a local charity, the Peapod Angels. And the Peapod Angels is a charity ran by our friend Shannon Jr. And they help they help all the local Phoenix area, the homeless. So summertime now that it's gotten, we're over 100 degrees now, they're going to start doing water stations, the hydration stations, and Christmas time they do, we have clothing drives, we get sweaters, clothing, socks, hygiene packs. So we kind of help fund them throughout the year and help them out however we can, so there's a lot, good reason that we do this. It's a lot of work to do a show and put it together, and all the logistics and all the behind the scenes stuff and the stuff that the unseen costs. But when it's all said and done, and we can help somebody out and help out the community, Arizona in general, because they will travel out to Far East Valley. They'll get out into South Phoenix, and the homeless it's just everywhere, and a lot of times these people are just not just they've just run into unforeseen circumstances where they've just fallen in hard times. And a lot of these people just need like a little boost and help to get them through this rough patch. And some people just end up homeless, they're definitely there to help these people and get them through these hard times.
You and I talked about it. I mean, that's what I deal with at work a lot. Your brother is a firefighter. So we do insinuate a lot of times that it's different causes, but people need help, and you guys are doing a great cause, and the show is fun too. That's a cool thing about Severed in the Southwest. So new location. The old location for the audience to kind of describe was an old school mall, and Joe and the Severed gang would get kind of this little sliver of the, I don't know if malls are like this all over, but in Phoenix the malls all have like a roundabout. It's this huge circle that goes around the malls. I literally think whoever's building the malls in Phoenix, they all kind of blueprinted the same damn thing. But there's a little sliver there, and then there was kind of a Castles and Coasters, and it's exactly what it was, a mid-level, definitely not a Six Flags, but always a good time. Always enjoy going to your show, and now we're going to head out west this year, so that'll be a good time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, we're really excited. It was just time for a change, and just a change of venue. The UTI people have been so welcoming to us, and for many years they would come out and like personally, I've spent my whole life, my career is built in automotive. So I work in the parts department. I have pretty much my whole life, and I get a lot of kids, a lot of the younger guys. Man, how do I get in here? And it definitely helps to have that automotive background and that knowledge of how a vehicle works. And a lot of times, these people or these kids want to be involved, but they just need that extra education to teach them. Which a lot of times now it's hard to get in and be an apprentice, so you need that schooling to get in there and just learn that little extra.
Oh, for sure. These kids are always looking, and when you influence them with trucks, and I think even having the show there, when you have cars and you have automotive, and you get those kids to see that, we are able to kind of keep this thing going with the generation and the next generation. So for them to see, these trucks, and it's like, well, how do I get that truck? Do you get a lot of kids talking to you about your page and wanting to start a page, or when you look back and you think about starting the page and then kind of getting traction, was that hard? Because you kind of came in, and there was some established pages. Did you feel like, man, this is tough? But then all of a sudden, 20, 25,000, next thing you know, you guys you're going to have 100,000 followers this year. That's pretty remarkable.
Yeah. No, I've been real lucky and fortunate that I've gotten a great response. And, and a lot of people in the Southwest especially, because at first I was told that I was, I was going to hit only a certain demographic, Vatos. That people were telling me, oh, you're only going to get the Hispanic people to like it. And I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter. To me, originally, the page just started, I was going to showcase pictures that I had, friends of mine, just stuff that I thought was cool. I've been real fortunate to know, like, really a lot of the best customizers. I've known Bob Grant for a long time. I've known Kurt Forkland for a long time. I've known Brandon Cisco for a long time. So in the mini truck scene, these guys were all metal magicians, and they were doing cool stuff. And there's a MIC. There's like so many shops out there that were doing like all this crazy stuff. Mind you, back then we didn't have the go ahead and order everything out of your kit. These guys were like, trial by error, like building stuff, and a lot of stuff worked and a lot of stuff didn't, So, my truck chain reaction, that was built prior to any drop members, any stuff like that, being available. That truck's laid out with a Zed frame in the front. It's got a bridge. It's got a Ford link on it. And I think right when we got the truck was getting going, I think this was like 2009, Jason from Suicide Doors was just starting to develop this front kit, like a drop member. And I was looking at it, and I was like, oh, what's this, And he goes, yeah, be able to lay your truck out on 22s, your C10. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And I happened to reach out to Jason. I was like, hey, man, I'm building this truck for SEMA. And I go, how does, explain to me what's going on here, because I didn't really understand the concept. I'm not a fabricator. I know the difference between right and wrong, when something's done. And so he explained to me. I was like, oh, man. So I called my buddy Kurt, and Kurt used to own AutoCore here in Phoenix. And I said, hey, Kurt, Jason over at Suicide Doors has this kit, and it's you'll be able to lay it out. It's pretty much a pancake cross member, and that's something that we had done, but that was the only way I could explain it. But it's all new. And he goes, oh, man. He goes, I just Z'd your frame last night. It's already burnt in. So, I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, oh, man, but I wanted this thing, this new thing. And, but Jason was nice enough, man. I think I got the first set of arms, the tubular arms that he ever made. And I mean, Jason's he's an OG, man. He is in the truck world. This guy builds crazy stuff, and he still fabricates kits for many, many trucks and cross members and control arms. And I was lucky that he goes, man, are you really going to finish this thing? I said, dude, I'm in. I'm going. I have to be at SEMA, and he sent me one of his first arms, and so that thing doesn't have rack and pinion. That thing still has a steering gear, and it still has, traditional tie rod ends and all that stuff. So it's old school, man. And I get a lot of people that still ask about it, and and just the other day, Morgan and I we're shuffling some stuff around, and I have it. Actually, I brought it back home, and it's stored under our big awning, and there's like 3 car covers on it, and she's like, when are you going to get this thing running again? And she's kind of egging me on, to time to revive that truck and bring it back out. So it might be time here pretty soon.
Oh, I definitely think you need to bring it back out. And you said one of your guys was an OG, right? So you're an OG. C10 Nation, are you thinking about upgrading that motor? Well, PSI is your go-to source for LSX conversion wiring harnesses. They have been in the LS conversion business for 10 years, or I like to say, C10 years. They specialize in standalone wiring harness for GM Gen 2, 3, 4, 5, LS and LT-based engines and transmissions. Aside from harnesses, they offer components and kits for retrofitting older vehicles, PCM programming, fuel systems, engine sensors, replacement GM pigtails, and so much more. All harnesses are made with pride in the USA. In-house full-time technical support to help you with all of your installation questions, after-sales customer support, and a 4-wire hookup to make the installation process as easy as possible. For our listeners, go to psiconversion.com/C10 Talk. psiconversion.com/C10 Talk. Use coupon code C10 Talk and you will get a free shirt and free shipping on orders over $250. Free shipping and a free t-shirt. So if you're going to switch out that motor and upgrade to an LS-based motor, you're ready to go with PSI. C10 Nation, what up, what up? I've been buying my truck parts from Brothers for over 20 years now. BrothersTrucks.com. Anything you need from 47 to 87 Chevy and GMC restoration parts. The cool thing about Brothers, they've updated their website, super user-friendly, but they're more than just truck parts. They also offer a killer monthly newsletter, which really honestly goes into all kinds of things within the scene, a little bit in-depth. Sometimes I contribute, and so do many others. Talks about new videos that they have out, new tech, new parts that are on the horizon, and other current events in the scene. So get online, brotherstrucks.com, get yourself the latest catalog, and sign up for the monthly newsletter. It includes restoration tips, videos, hot forum topics, event info, and so much more. So if you want to stay as current as possible, sign up for the catalog and get your Brothers monthly newsletter. It's that easy. BrothersTrucks.com, BrothersTrucks.com. You said one of your guys was an OG, right? So you're an OG.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been in the scene a long time, and you think about somebody who built a SEMA truck the way you did it before, Porterbuilt and GSI and all these, you did it the old school way. You did it the mini trucker way in a full size. Yeah. You were kind of leading the way back then too, if you think about it. Now, when you look at somebody who's been in the scene from mini trucking to, hosting shows that long, how do you feel about the scene now? Like, you look at how it's changed from the forums. The shows are still alive. I think the shows are kicking ass. I think they're all kicking ass. I mean, they are, because you look at the entries and we're doing good, but explain the phases of that. How you went, you've been in the scene for over 20 years and now it's so social media based, yet we still get together and you might not know somebody by their first name, but you'll be like, oh, you're 7- underscore, or some shit like that. And you're like, oh I saw your build. Isn't that kind of neat, and to see how far we've come?
No, it's cool, man. Yeah, definitely social media is great for that. I guess some people look at it 2 ways. The thing was, back in the day, and too, you've been around long enough, if there was a show on the East Coast, and when you talk to these older guys that have been on the East Coast, and they always waited for the Trucking Magazine and Mini Trucking Magazine and to come out and get printed so they could look at the shows and look at all the stuff that was going on the West Coast. Obviously, I don't know. I guess they would consider the truck scene did come out of the West Coast, starting from mini truck, and it kind of moved across the country, all the way around the world now. And now you can look on social media and you see these guys in Japan, driving these laid out C10s, just skating down the freeway. And so social media is great for that kind of stuff, that you have friends around the world that you can watch them and follow their builds. And, and I've even seen people they're like, oh man, I don't know how to do this. Or even kind of post a question like, how does this go? Showing a bracket or whatever the case may be. And usually I would say 90% of the people are honestly trying to help. Obviously there's always going to be the people that are trolling or trying to make a joke out of something, but it's good for stuff like that, man. Social media is great for making friends. It was weird. Like this year, Dino, this past year, I should say, he, moved the event from the shop, put it at Big Surf. So it was a much bigger show. I had a lot of guys come to the booth. I had right off the top of my head, C10 man, Brad, comes out to me. He goes, hey, I follow your page. I'm like, hey, how's it going, man? Nice to meet you. And me and him start chopping it up, and we're just talking about different stuff. I'm like, oh, dude, I follow all your trucks, and I call Brad the C10 Whisperer. This guy's constantly just pulling out trucks out of nowhere, factory paint, and all this stuff. I'm like, dude, where do you find these trucks? He goes, oh, dude, they're all over the place. You just got to look for them, And I forget where he lives. He lives somewhere back in the South. And it was cool just to I think we'd kind of talked here and there online, but it was cool to just come up, shake his hand, hey man, just kind of just bullshit a little bit, just about trucks and the scene. And, I think he was telling me that was the first time he'd ever been out to the West Coast. And so it was cool, man. It's cool. You actually, when you get to these big events, you get to LST, we drive, you drive your C10 to the middle of the country. I tow a nonsense giant booth with me, but it's cool when we get out there and to see all these guys that come from the South and New York and these guys that come from Australia. So that's always fun, man. It's you kind of make an online friendship, and then we get to these big events and we get to meet them, face to face, maybe have a beer, whatever, go hang out, talk about trucks in person. So that's always, it's like the ice has been broken, with social media.
Oh, that's perfect. Because the trucks are the common bond.
Is over.
And you're like, your truck. Sure. And then it's like, and you might not have interacted with somebody, before where you're like, oh man, I know this guy's builds. I almost think now, just listening to you talk about it, I almost think we used to go to shows to see the trucks. We still want to see the truck in person, but we already know the trucks. So now we just want to meet the people behind the trucks, and it's more about the people than the trucks, whereas it probably used to be more about the trucks.
Yeah, for sure. Because there was never, you never knew the person. With social media, obviously I have my private page, your personal page. I have my own personal page. You have your personal page where I'll post stuff about we go on vacation or you're posting about what you have going on in your life. But then we have our, I don't want to call them a business page, but our brand page, to where we just talking about the trucks. So a lot of times these guys that are out there just building or working out of their houses, so you kind of see they don't have two separate pages. So you get to, you really get to see the truck. You see the 500 posts of all the stuff that he went through and this and that. And, you see people talking about, what do you think about this interior color, or this color? And, you're there, you're involved in the page or in the build. And then when you find oh man, dude, I follow you, so it's always kind of, I think it's cool, it's before it was all about the vehicle, because you didn't know about the person. If you got the magazine monthly, you would look at the tech article. Oh man, yeah, dude, this truck he put, he did this. They built this crazy center console, or they did the stereo, and they show you how they did it. They Frenched in the taillights. So now with social media, a lot of the pages or the builders or the owners are posting, you want to know more about the person too, you get to see the behind the scenes, like they'll post about their truck, but it's like, oh, hey, my kid graduated or my daughter got married or whatever, so I think it's kind of cool. It's definitely, you make more friends for sure.
Well, it's so much more personalized, and it's funny to hear you say it. You're like, hey, get back to the truck, dude. We don't care about your kid graduating, man. Yeah. The real life shit can wait for Sundays. What are you doing on the truck? You're like, you threw me for a loop, and they'll post a ton of stuff. Like for me, obviously, you and I talk about it every time. They're like, hey, what's going on with the house? Like, you haven't posted anything about the house. Yeah. And so on my personal page, it's pretty much my house or my kids. And then you're like, I could see on one of these guys that do both, where they're building a truck and their personal life. You're like, hey, dude, it's like 6 posts and you've been posting about your kids, your house, your family, your trips. You're allowed 9 free posts until you have to get back to the truck. So get back to the truck. Dude. You got 3 more posts and you better be back to the truck.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, it's definitely, I think we've, as a truck community, custom vehicle community, custom truck community, we've definitely become friendlier. I think before it was, you would see the vehicle and you're like, oh, dude, I've watched this build, or even you saw them on the forums. The forums were never about yourself. It was about your vehicle and what you were doing, or the magazine was about the vehicle and the modifications. And a lot of times you wouldn't know who the hell owned the vehicle unless your buddy or somebody knew, oh, that's Ronnie's truck. That's Ronnie over there. And, somebody would point you out. Oh, and then it was this, now it's just, you get to know more people, it's cool, man. It's definitely, it's way different now.
Yeah, it is. You almost get to know the guys as well, because I always like to, I was telling somebody, I'm like, if I ever need to see what's going on somebody's story, I just go right to Joe's story or C10 Vatos' story, because I think you might have the most story posts. So explain to us a little bit. We'll get back to the Vato page and ribbon on Joe a little bit, but you post, I like the girls. You post a lot of the girls on the story. Yeah. And I can always kind of see where your mind is for maybe that day or that hour where, we've got some food, we've got some vacation stuff. You'll have some cool pictures of lagoons and houses. How do you find the time? And are you just constantly hitting share, or what are you doing? Give me your secret, man. You're active. You're an active page.
Yeah, no, you definitely. And like I said, so I work. Oh God, I hope nobody's listening from my work. So I work at a dealership. I have for a long time, 20 plus years. So I do wholesale. So I don't deal with retail anymore. I have very few retail customers that I deal with. So all my stuff, let's say 95% of my orders come through email. And then I get the, phone calls. Let's say 90 to 10, So I get 90% emails. So I get an email and whatever. I get an order from a body shop. I've been doing it so long, I can kind of go through and I get it done pretty quick. And I sit there and I'm waiting for the next order to come through. So I do have free time on my hands. I sit at a desk. I don't leave my desk. So I get to work at 7:30 in the morning and I'm there till 5:30. So, there's a lot of stuff. I daydream a lot. I daydream about traveling. So travel is like a big thing. Photography is huge. There's, so many beautiful countries out there that, I probably won't get to see most of them. There's more. I was fortunate enough that Morgan and I went to not Hawaii. We went to Australia. We had a layover in Hawaii, but we went to Australia a couple of years ago. And, man, it was so eye-opening just to get away. And that was probably our first vacation that was non-automotive based. Mind you, we did still go to the car show halfway through the trip, but it was good to get away and just have a good time, man. I've always wanted to travel. Unfortunately, I got into the car game really early, and all my extra money went into vehicles.
Yeah,
I did travel to go to, and I would go to California for shows, and I would go to Nevada and New Mexico and stuff like that. But I'm talking like go see foreign countries and
sure.
to get away. So a lot of times I daydream about these places. I'm real fortunate that I've become friends with people that send me stuff. They're like, dude, have you seen this? Or check this out. I have friends that, that are into woodworking. They're like, dude, check this out. I have a buddy my buddy Robbie's really big into guitars. And he's like, dude, check this out. And sometimes I'm just like, oh man, that's crazy. So, at times I do, my brain's all over the place. And some days I'm just sitting there and I'm like, man, I'm hungry. And I follow these barbecue pages.
Yeah.
And I'm
we can
getting
see it, man.
the ideas. Oh, dude, yeah. It's
You
do
keep it separate though.
Friends.
Like your front page, your posting page is usually C10s, or I always like it when you'll do one of your little what it is. It's Friday and Cheech and Chong or something like that. But then on your stories for the audience, if you don't follow C10 Vatos, then you need to. Well, I assume you do. If you're listening to this, you should. And if you want to really just get into Joe's brain and what he's thinking for the day, the hour, the afternoon while he's sitting at the dealership, just get on that story thing. It's kind of like, for me, it's kind of like Chive. So Chive has a lot of good stuff, a lot of girls, and sometimes Joel posts get on a really good run of girls, and we can kind of see what his brain is thinking.
and it's not just about the girls, but definitely I try to keep it to where it's something interesting.
Yeah,
people like to see tattoos. Whether it be, I've posted just as many guys with fully sleeved and chest pieces, and and it's just, I see it as art. And whether it be just a cool picture of an attractive girl in some, whether she has shocking red hair, whether she has tattoos, she might have long blonde hair, whatever the case may be, you know what I mean? So, but then right after that, I'm sitting here looking at knives, and my buddy Neil in Hawaii he makes knives, and he taught himself how to do this, and he forges, and he's been on TV, he's been a Forges and Fire champion. So I got so interested. I'm like, dude, how do you do this? And he's just like, oh man, he goes, I just learned, I watched it. I believe his grandfather was a blacksmith and made knives, and then he kind of found the stuff, and he kind of taught himself and learned, and he would just send me pictures. Check this out. I'm like, dude, that's so cool. And so now he's just exploded, man. And so I get like really caught up in just ironworking and just like all these crazy machines. Some of these machines that like these big manufacturing companies have been around since early 1900s, and you see how they cold roll steel, and I don't even know the terminology, but it's just, I just get caught up and I'm just like watching videos. And I posted a video probably like a week ago, and it was this engineering, this machine, and it was this little cube, and it just had like these, I think 5 prongs, and and the 2 pieces are separate, and then they go to put it together, and it interlocks, and it's machined so smoothly that the line disappears. And I sat there and just watched that for like 20 minutes. And I'm like, how the hell did they machine that? And I'm like, I got to share this. And that's one of the few posts that I actually wasn't like a vehicle, or something. And it was like, I just wanted to share this. And I put that on my main page. And people were like, how'd they do that? And there's some people that follow my page are machinists. And the guy was saying something about 0.001, negative, I can't remember, you can go back and read the comments, and dude, I'm like, how do you even do that, but it's just the stupid little things, man, that catch my eye, whatever the case may be.
Well, and it could be a time warp, when YouTube is the same way, so social media, do you what does Morgan say? Because my wife, obviously having C10 Talk and C10 Nation, sometimes, I just have to remember to put the phone down. It's like, okay, I need to put the phone down. I'm with my family, and my family's pretty good, but I really do try to limit it. I will say at work, I could probably do a little bit better job because, again, kind of like you, I have downtime and I'm trying to get a post out, or more for me, it's like I want to get a post out. Hey, C10 Vatos is on this week. Go ahead and watch the show, or listen to the show, I should say. But do you ever get, does Morgan or any friends or family ever give you a hard time? Like, hey, let's put the phone down today, Joe.
Morgan's really supported me in this whole venture. And she's been she's been very helpful. When we go to these shows, we go to LST, we go to Brothers, that's coming up. We go to Dino's. She's the blonde girl in the booth with me and probably yelling at me or because I've done something or I'm screwing around when I should be working. But no, man, she's definitely, she likes it. She likes going out to the shows. She likes hanging out. We like I said, we've been traveling to shows for many, many years. And this kind of gives us, I think we're both almost kind of workaholics to where we're always doing something, whether it be C10 Vatos, whether we're doing Seven in the Southwest, whether we're doing other stuff, So I think we like to stay busy. But usually I think we kind of have a rule when we kind of sit down to eat or we go out somewhere. I usually put my phone down, like if we're with friends and we go out to dinner, the phone's in my pocket and I have it on silent because I'm not going to pay attention to it. If you notice, most of my posts come in the morning, throughout the day, like my main post. Throughout the day, if somebody sends me something, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'll post it. Storyline is just kind of me. It's stuff that people have sent me, stuff that I'm just kind of looking that come up in your interest page. My storyline is total randomness. And I get a lot of people that are like, oh, and sometimes I just get caught up to architecture, houses from around the world. And it's just like, oh man, that's cool. Like, how come they don't do that in the States? And, when you go to these other countries, they build their houses differently. My buddy in Australia, Thomas, we were fortunate to stay with him for a couple of days, and he lives out in Noosa, and it's a real nice community. I would kind of almost like Sedona retirement community, and we're just looking at all the houses are built like, the roofs are all like are like corrugated steel, but it's not corrugated steel, and it rains there so much that they catch the rain, and it goes into the big filtration system, and that water gets used for the washing machine and the shower, and I'm like, wow, man, that's crazy. Obviously, you can't do that in Arizona, but in other places where it rains a lot, I'm like, well, why don't they do this? He goes, whatever the case may be, And his dad's an architect, and they build houses, so it's cool to hang out with him, and he show me all the different stuff that they do there. And so I just get caught up, man. Whatever the case may be.
We could do it in Arizona, Joe. It would just evaporate. It'd just be gone.
Yeah.
By the time we got it into any kind of trough or anything, it would be gone anyway, so it really wouldn't matter.
Yeah. So, I tell people that, and I, like I said, like you, I'm sure also you get to talk to people all over the country and all over the world. And then, telling people, I'm like, dude, it's hot here. And I'm like, just up until a couple weeks ago, some people up in Canada were like, oh man, it was still snowing. I'm like, oh dude, I'm in shorts and a t-shirt today. They're like, oh, you're so lucky. I'm like, ask me again in about 45 days when it's 110 degrees.
It was like 109, I think, today. It's definitely started to change. So we're kind of, we're going to be paying for that spring that we had. We got lucky.
We got real lucky this year.
Yeah, it was nice.
And,
Classic Performance Products, CPP, has a few new products out. Let's start with their new HydroStop Street Beast hydraulic assist systems. CPP's HydroStop Street Beast is a direct fit, high-performance hydraulic brake assist system that works great when running a performance engine setup and there is not enough vacuum produced to operate a traditional booster. Simply plumb into your power steering system and share the fluid reservoir with your power steering pump to your high-performance brake system. Assembled with all new parts, this unit puts out an amazing 1800 PSI at the wheels. How about their new 14-inch big brake kits? CPP now offers a 6-piston, 14-inch big brake system for your Chevy truck. featuring 2-piece pre-assembled, drilled, slotted, and zinc-coated rotors, 6-piston billet aluminum calipers with DOT-compliant dust and weather seals, premium stainless hardware, and braided stainless brake hoses. These brakes work with their modular and Corvette-style spindles. Remember, use C10 Talk at checkout and save 10% off your order. Damn, son, 10%? www.classicperform.com. Hey guys, have you heard about Marque's new square body molding? Guess what? You could check it out. Squarebodymolding.com. Squarebodymolding.com. Something that's been in the works and it's finally out. It debuted at SEMA 2018 on SSO2, the highest quality trim you can get for your square body. Whether that's short bed, long bed, Blazers, Suburbans, or even crew cabs. That's it. Squarebodymolding.com. If you like that 1-year 1977 yellow, they'll have that too. So if you've been looking for the best for your square body trim, head on over to squarebodymolding.com. Do you have a philosophy for posting? Like, when I say that, I mean it in a real positive way. I think I really try to have a standard, meaning I'm going to post good quality pictures. I'm going to tag the owner. I'm going to say, you know, it was regrammed by, if I take a C10 Vatos picture. I think you do that as well. Do you kind of just try to really give focus or give credit where credit's due?
Oh, yeah, definitely, man. What am I to gain from trying to take credit? And, you know, dude, there's so many vehicles out there and so many great photographers and Johnny O from California and Brian from SoCal Customs, and they take great pictures. And it's funny, just recently, a couple of days ago, Brian kind of jumped my case because I reposted some pictures of the Whoop design, the Blazer, the blue one with the white top, and there's two separate pictures.
Yeah, the Beach Coast Cruiser.
Yeah. And I came across the pictures on his page, and man, how come I don't think I posted this? So I kind of looked, and I was like, oh, I don't see it. So, so I kind of went and kind of put, did a little collage, and which would you cruise, top on, top off? And then Brian just like, what'd you do to my pictures? And I was like, well, what do you, and I know Brian. I was like, okay, so I messaged him. I go, dude, I just grabbed these pictures from the guy's page. I tagged him. There was no photographer tag. And he goes, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, dude, I'm not here to take credit for anybody's work. Obviously these photographers, Brian Good, him and I are have become really good friends over the last couple of years. And he's kind of, I don't want to say, he's kind of mentored me on, booth. And he's been doing this for a long time.
So that's Grinder for the audience.
Yeah, Grinder. Yeah. Lindsay from Surface and Will, they ran a DVD company, Surface DVD, for many, many years, and they traveled all over the United States. That was a mini truck based DVD, but they had been doing booths for a long time. So I take a lot of input from them. I'm never one to act like I know everything, because I definitely don't know everything. And so I've been fortunate to know people that have kind of done this in one way or another, whether it be a booth, media stuff. So I definitely, when I know the photographer and I know the owner, it's like, I'll be like, if I don't, I usually say tag the owner. Every once in a while it slips and I don't do it, and somebody's like, hey, that's my truck. Oh, sorry, man. Here you go. And I'll, you can go back, edit the post, and just put somebody's name on there. I'm never one to try to claim any of these vehicles are mine, or the work, the photographer work's mine. There's so many talented people out there that I just kind of consider myself a media outlet, to where I have a larger audience than some of these great photographers, and I'm going to share their picture and tag them, and maybe he gets more followers. And now I've gotten to the point where I get photographers that are just sending me pictures like, here, check this out. I'm like, oh yeah, cool, that's a good picture. And like you said, you kind of touch base on it. You want to have a standard of pictures. So like you, I'm sure like I do and you do, and a lot of these other pages, you get people to send you a picture of their truck. And mind you, it could be the coolest truck you've ever seen. glossy paint, cool wheels, great stance. But man, when there's like a trash can next to your truck, when the angle is like not correct, when you're in a shadow, and people are like, why don't you post my truck? And I'm like, dude, look at the pictures that I post.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell everybody. Go and look at all the big pages. Go look at Ronnie's page. Go look at anybody else's page and look at the pictures. And I mean, I've gotten to the point where I have samples that I send of my truck that I have with like garbage sitting in front of it and then without it. And I said, here's the difference. This is what you're sending me. This is what I want. If you want to be on the page and anybody else's page, you know, anybody that really cares about the content that goes into it, you want a good, clean picture, you know? And sometimes, you know, there's some funny pictures, you know, where you see a picture that, okay, maybe it's not about the truck, but it's about the event that's going on. You know, like somebody's cruising with their kids in the truck, and I'm like, dude, that's what it's all about, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
You know, having the family, being able to enjoy the truck, loading them up, going somewhere, doing something. So, yeah, I mean, there's definitely, you want to look at the picture, guys. That's all I'm going to say. So look at all the content on all the big pages.
We get pictures that come through, and you'll see a hot picture, and you know real quick.
Yeah.
You're like, that's a hot picture.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a good, clean picture. There's not like stuff floating around the background. There's not a light pole sticking out of the bed because it's in the background, or a tree, or whatever the case may be, you know. And I say, you know, go back and look at a photographer's page. Go look at the grinder page. Look at the pictures he takes. That's the kind of quality you and I want to have on our page, you know. Professional photographer. Go look at any of these other guys that are out there, you know.
Kevin Aguilar, Fuelish Media, he does a great job. And you look at, you don't have to be a professional photographer. You bring up a great point. Just take a wide shot, take a clean shot, maybe a little lighting. And, you know, it's funny because I think the audience, at least social media wise, they want us to post their truck. We want to post your truck. We do. I want to post your truck, but I want it to be a good picture.
Oh yeah, definitely. You want it to be a picture that people are like, oh, that's cool. And I mean, I think I've definitely posted trucks that are stockish, which is nothing wrong with it. I love a nice, clean stock truck, but the background is just like perfect. And that picture will be like, oh my God, where's that at? You get more people going, where was that picture taken at? And it's somebody in Montana or something by some lake. And I'm like, oh, that's a cool picture, you know? So there's just, definitely people just.
Well, one of the things that's going to change now is they're going to change the likes, right? That's already happening in Canada. So they're going to take away the likes. So that ought to be a little interesting to see, because that's kind of a barometer where you see a picture and you're like, oh, wow, that pic did really good. My audience, I don't want to waste my audience time. My audience really enjoyed that picture. It got 2,000, 4,000 likes, whatever. Now for our audience, for the people listening in the C10 Nation, Instagram's going to change. They're going to take away the likes so you can't see that. I think you could see who liked it, but you can't. It's not going to say, 200, 300, whatever million likes, whatever it is.
I think change. We'll still see it on our business side, maybe, but I don't know. I've been told two ways that we won't even get, because when you have a business page, quote unquote, they give us stats. I can tell that if I post a red truck, I can go back and look at all my stats and see, wow, man, a red truck really gets a lot of likes.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I've been told that that's going to go away also, but that we would still see it. I don't know what the case may be, So well, I think more than anything, it's going to hurt the Instagram models, quote unquote.
I think they're really trying to probably get younger pages up and going, because one thing I've noticed is somebody who maybe doesn't have as many followers, if they post a good pic, it'll get a ton of likes, and it will be something that's on my search feed a lot, because I think Instagram's looking at the algorithm and saying, man, I don't know why my voice is doing that today. I think Instagram is looking at the algorithm and saying that they're trying to push those younger pages because younger pages come in and they can't get any traction. And so Instagram, I'm sure social media is saying, well, we want these younger pages to come in and feel successful and get some kind of steam behind them, because they don't want to come in and just not, get any love. It's all about that. So it'll be interesting to see the change I don't really look at my algorithms, or I don't look at my, I don't really dive into it just because I don't feel like I have the time. But I do look at the likes, and I say, oh, somebody really likes that style, that that. Sometimes I'll post a 4-wheel drive, a K10 or a K20, and it could be a really cool pick, and they're like, nah, this is a C10 page, I don't really like that. And you're like, all right, well, they sometimes guys do, sometimes they don't. So, but it is fun to post and see what things do.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to see, and I know I definitely I get so pumped up about a really cool lifted truck, and I'm like, oh, this truck's so. And I've been having a want. I've wanted one for a while. I'm like, I want a lifted square body, and I'll just see one and I'll post it up. I'm like, oh, this truck's so cool. And in my head, I'm like, this thing's gonna, whatever. It's gonna be a great picture. It's gonna crush.
It's gonna crush it.
And then it's like 250 likes.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? But it's just. Maybe it's just not what's in right now. I don't know. I think a lot of times people feel the peer pressure to build what everybody else is building.
I think it's going to change. I think it's going to evolve. We're going to start going back up, just like when you and I were in high school and guys were rolling around in, K5 Blazers with 44 Swampers and, the big boy trucks and the big square bodies, and stuff like that. So I definitely think it'll evolve. I just want to really make sure that I say this because it's more so just to kind of really praise Joe and John. When you have a page and you want to be successful, I encourage the audience, like people's pages that are doing the work that these guys are doing, that are tagging the owners, that are, saying, hey, this is on a Porterbuilt chassis, it's running Toyo tires and intros and so on and so forth, because that's a lot of work. And I think it's just respectable for you to do that and you guys to take the time to do that. And that's one thing where I'm going to have a couple pages come on here because we, like I said before, we kind of know some of the OGs, the crew, the era, the syndicate, the club, this, Ronnie and the C10 Nation, C10 Talk, so on and so forth, Dino Chevioli. But there's a lot of, guys coming, even newer guys, maybe they've been around for 2 years and they're doing the legwork. They're putting in the time. Yeah. But then you have a couple pages, they just repost all day long and they never share like, hey, this is the owner. And you're like, dude, this guy worked his butt off on this truck. Let's make sure that he gets the credit that he deserves.
Yeah, we're the modern day magazine, really, and that's what it comes down to. Whether it be event coverage, whether we're in Texas, we're in Nevada, we're at SEMA, and you're out there, dude. You hustle nonstop. I think we talked at SEMA you came by my party this past year for an hour, and I could tell you were tired. You've been interviewing, you've been running around, you're setting stuff up. And, man, dude, honestly, thank you for everything that you do for this community and your show and the podcast and everything. So definitely, I think that kind of goes unsaid sometimes. And I think, you're definitely right there. One of the guys that's holding everybody together, or I shouldn't say holding everybody together, but bringing everybody together.
I'll hold you too if you want.
So bringing light, light to like my page. Like I said, like you said, definitely there's a lot of pages that have been around longer than us and than C10 Vatos, but I've been real fortunate to have a lot of great support. I think people like what I'm doing, and it's just I'm glad. I consider it like you said. If somebody builds something cool, I try to tag the owner. I try to tag the photographer. I try to tag. People will. Well, I can guarantee that I will post a truck that has a great stance and some killer wheels, and they're asking me, hey man, what size wheels and tires are those? I don't know, man. But you could, the owner's tagged on there, hit him up, he might message you, he might not, I don't know,
Sure.
Or unless I know, I can say, oh yeah, those are American racing wheels or whatever the case may be, he's on Toyo tires, then, I will pass on that information if I know it. If I don't, hey, sorry, I'm a media outlet. I'm a modern day magazine. So, I'm giving you the lead. So
yeah. Take the reign and go. If you guys want to check out some rad gear and not only check out Rad Gear, but you could check out Chain Reaction, which is Joe's 73 square body, ahead of its time. Really, I was giving him Unchained Melody love on it. You can also check out Loch-Ness, which is John's truck. That truck, again, both of these are street trucks, cover trucks, which is really, to me, you guys have skin in the game. If you want to check out their trucks, you want to check out Rad Gear, you jump onto C10Vatos.com, and they're always kind of spicing it up, different stickers, different sayings, what's the one? Build C10s, eat tacos, make amigos, C10 Vatos. So I think what you guys are doing, it's pivotal, it's respectful, and that's why you're on here, because I'm trying to make sure that we give a little love back to these pages that are working so hard in our scene, in our industry. You, Morgan, you guys go out to the Eastbound and Down. It's kind of I noticed for sure this year, you guys had those stickers on your truck. I'm like, that's so cool. We make these little Eastbound and Down stickers. So it's like these stickers to have it over the years, and it's a cool time. We have a great time, and guys like Brian from Grindr, obviously Kevin goes with Brian, and you guys come out.
It's the C10 Power Tour. That's what it is. It's the mini C10 Power Tour.
Well, and we need to change it up then. We might have to pick a different route then.
Yeah. It was cool. This year's route was cool. I mean, Morgan loved it. She was like, "Oh my God, this is awesome!" And she, obviously she sees these little stores, and she sees they sell peaches and peach wine. And she's like wanting to stop there.
Yeah.
We got to keep going. We got to get there, babe.
Well, we say that, like when we talk right now, it's like, oh, we should change it up and take a different route. But when it comes to Wednesday morning and we got to be there, we're like, we got to get there. And then obviously some breakdowns happen. But this year was fun. We went to that Fredericksburg. We went to the Deep Eddies vodka. Yeah. We had a good time.
That was fun.
I think we'll try to keep it spicy. Maybe take a little different route this coming year for it'll be 2020. So it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to let you go. Honestly, I'm trying to think if there's anything else, but I just want to, again, my whole point behind this, Joe and John, tell John I said hi. You guys are in the scene.
Definitely.
You guys have skin in the game. You're not doing it just to sell a T-shirt. You're doing it because you love the scene. You've been around, not only throwing, Severed. You're doing a great job, and just keep it up. And for my audience, give C10 Vatos some love. We're all Vatos. We all like tacos. There's little Vatos in everybody. There's a little Vato in every one of us. But that might be your next shirt, dude. There's a little Vato in every one of you. You know what I mean? Everybody likes a little Corona, maybe some tequila, depending. And we all like tacos. So, Joe, thanks for taking time to be with us today, and keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Thanks again to everybody, my followers, everybody that supported the page, the brand. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. It's a lot of work, but it's fun, man. We enjoy it. Morgan and myself enjoy getting out and meeting people. And thank you, Ronnie. Thank you again for everything that you do. And thanks for having me on.
And if you ever get to go to the booth and you get to meet Morgan, she's a firecracker. So get her fired up and get her yelling at Joe, and she's a passionate woman. So you're lucky there, brother. I think a lot of our truck guys are really lucky when it comes to that. Tell her I said hi. Thanks again for your time, bro.
Yes, sir.
Have a good week.
I'll talk to you soon.